Very well, moving on to the next part of this hair modding experience for the game of Dragon Age Inquisition. If you've been following along, you will know that we've already gone over the whole process of managing the mod maker, exporting files from that application in particular, importing them into a 3D editing software, in this case 3ds Max, and making a few modifications, some of these a bit experimental for my particular experience, some a bit more classic or easy to make. It's just in order to give you more tools to work with. Once that was done, we exported the file into an OBJ with the same parameters as everything. One thing I would like to add before we move on to the next stage is that I clicked on the little light here beside the body and the head, and you can see that they vanished. You can export this mesh without any problem, yes, even if you have these two other elements hidden in the project. If you export the mesh with the head or with the body, then you will have a problem. I think the mod maker won't let you import. Very well. Now, moving on to the mod maker, I already tried importing this, but I'm going to give you a step by step, so that you can get the general idea of how you would have to do this. The process after you've done most of the mesh, it's a bit more tiresome. It involves a lot of importing a mesh, merging the files, testing the game, and rinse and repeat. It can get a bit taxing, but if you pay attention to a few of the things I'm going to tell you here, then perhaps it can make it a little bit more easier. Okay, so I open my Dragon Age Inquisition mod maker. Like we did before, we have to go to Data, DA3, Actors, Base Heads, and we press on Hair. And we give it a few moments because sometimes it can take a bit. Like I told you before, the name of the files are usually coded in a letter for the race. In this case, I work the human female, so it's HF, and the name of the hair. If you go back to my previous videos, I think it's in the one where it tells you how to export meshes, you have a link to a zip file with the name of all the meshes. In this case, because I've worked this mesh quite a bit throughout the years, I know it's the PB. And if you want to narrow your search, you select the type and you put skinned mesh asset. I'm typing it, the tool sometimes takes a while to process it. And there we go. So this was the mesh that I exported, and now I have to place the mesh that I edited into the game, or in this case into the mod maker. So I go to preview just in case to make sure that I selected the correct one. Yes, this is the original ponytail, look how it looks. And I'm going to go to import asset. In the previous video we selected the export asset. Give me a moment, thank you, lovely. Okay, we selected the export asset and now we have to import it. It's a bit in reverse. I named my file HFPV modded because that's the way I code these sort of things, and I press open. The import configuration comes up, the global scale remains the same, you don't have to modify this. Let me close this for a moment. Oh no, I can't. Okay, you press save and it will give you this message. Sorry. This happens if everything went well. If by no mistake or accident or slip of the hand you didn't erase or duplicate anything, you should get this message. or like if you didn't export the hair with the head or anything like that. This is good. This is telling me that everything went according to plan. Now, I could go and save the mod and test it in game and all that, but I suggest that before you go into that whole process, you first do a new preview. It should show me the modified game, the hair. Perfect. I'm going to put them side by side. Here you have the original hair, here you have what I've modified. If you rotate it, you are going to see a few things that I've already noticed because I tried doing this before. Mostly, and this always happens with this hair, I honestly don't know how to fix it, so I had to cover it. I noticed that there's a patch here that's gotten dark. If anyone knows how to fix it and wants to leave a lovely message in the comment section, it's more than welcome. And then I have another one here. I suggest if you're doing this sort of work, then just in case, before going into the game and wasting time with merging files and loading the game and loading origins or anything, check this one first. Check this preview, because if you have these black spots, then they will show in the game. Yes, and it will just make the whole process longer. So I'm going to go back to 3ds Max and I'm going to try to solve it as best I can. Okay. Oh no, wait, this one already gave me trouble before. Why are you doing this to me? Ah, because of this. Remember how I told you to put 2.0? Well, you have to do it a lot. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to press F4 and have the edges show in this hair. Okay. Oh, well, let me see. No, this one doesn't have any problems, and this one is my reason for hating some parts of this process. It gets a bit tiresome. Okay, here is a good place to start using the polygon or face selection. I suggest you use a soft selection with edge distance. Edge distance, let me just comment real fast, makes it so that only the strand, or in this case the hair you choose, or this element you choose, is being affected by the soft selection. I don't remember if I told you before, but anyways, like I said, I'm going to do this with this. Oh, give me a moment, because it did. There you go. Okay, we're going to be like this, huh? Okay, so we are going to try to fix that as best as we can. There we go. And I'm going to rotate it a bit. It's very sensitive for an app. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go as far as doing something like this. I know that the problem is in this general area. The idea is to pull another mesh over it and see if this can be fixed or not. Taking into account that it may not be able to fix it. It can happen. Shit happens. Sorry for the language. But we're going to try to see if this can be solved. Okay, there's my cat at the door. Please ignore her. Very well. Look, I'm going to try and use the to raise this a bit, just so that these volumes don't become too weird. There we go. Oh, but my old enemy has resurfaced. I'm sorry. Usually, with these sort of things, one can get a bit obsessed with the small details that probably won't be even noticed by others, but you just want to make sure that everything is clean and nice, so you do this. Okay, and you try to make sure that the hair comes out nice. I don't know, it's a matter of personal preferences, but we are going to see if this corrects this, and if it does this, and then we are going to check the path the back part to see if we can correct that too. So you see, like, the process is not always as linear as one would want. Like, ideally, yes, you make the mesh, you export it, you check it with the mod maker, everything is fine, and you can move on with your life. But in most cases, you get a black spot or, I don't know, an error when you're importing, and you're like, oh, what did I do to deserve this? Why do you hate me, Belzebub? Okay, yes, look at this. See? Now this one is fixed. Kinda. Like, it doesn't show the black spot, so we're good. And now I have to fix this one. This one will be a bit more problematic because, I don't know, I have the feeling that it won't be that easy to solve. So now we go to the back. Because the problem with this one is that it's this strand. And this strand is kind of a big deal. I mean, I would have to replace it with another strand, which is possible. I could just do this and pull one up. But I don't know, it's just, you know, when you are like, I would like not to make that if it's possible. But okay, we will do it. Oh, size. Okay, let's do it. I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit, how do you say it in English? Verborragical or something like that, because I start talking a lot when it comes to this whole process. Okay. Very well. Let's see. And oh yes, there was a small part here. Okay, where? This is a bit nitpicking. Like, you don't have to have the. Yes, let me just do this now, because I know I put a lot of emphasis on checking this stuff, but honestly, it's not the end of the world if your mesh goes out to the world with a black spot behind someplace. Like, life keeps on going, and some users may later send you a message telling, oh, but I noticed you have this small little black spot in the front of your mesh that you made the first time you started modding. And okay, yes, I know, I'm sorry, it happens. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. So we are going to try to fix as much as we can. Perhaps I already fixed it with the modifications I did, so we are going to export it and let's try it again. You can override things that you already imported in the mod maker. It won't make any changes. Yes. I'm just doing this way because I want to fix it before going into the game, because the game will show me if there's anything more that needs to be fixed, of course. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't fix it as much as I hoped I had. And let's see, at least, oh yes, at least the front of the hair loves me. Okay, let's see if I can fix this. Oh, no, not social selection. I'm sorry, just I apologize for the noisy cat that is currently demanding my attention. Okay, let's do it like this. The problem with this is that I already like this shape, so I hate having to modify this just because, I don't know, a part of the hair is a dick. I'm sorry for the language. But sometimes it's called for because the hair gets a little bit annoying. Okay, I love it because I was only going to try to fix this and I keep modifying the hair. It happens. It also happens if you get this sort of creative spree, like I'm going to ride this modding urge to mod Dragon Age until it dies. I don't know. I know, Kande, shut up. Sorry, it's my cat. Ta-da! Okay, well, I'm getting a bit sidetracked, so I'm going to leave it here. Let's go to the whole process. I'm going to export this, and we're going to leave it there. I'm sorry, my cat is meowing outside the door because she wants to be let in, even though she has a window open with access to the room. Oh, but she's a duchess. Okay, so we're going to import the latest test. Yes. And we're going to see... Oh, look! It's fixed! And I didn't even mean to fix it like that. I was like, okay, I give up. Oh, well, this is a good sign. Okay, so now it's finally ready for a mod. You can close the preview, that's no problem. You can also close this option. I'm going to minimize this, and here we have the Dragon Age Inquisition mod maker. Once you have imported the file, like I just did, yes, I'm going to do it again so you can get a quick review, because perhaps everything that I've done recently was a bit confusing. You go to import asset, you select the hair that you've modded, and you press open. You save, you get the confirmation that it was successful. If you want, just in case, you check how it doesn't have any black spots. I'm going to cry, sorry, I'm getting a bit sentimental with this wood. Okay, and now you can finally close this window, go to File, and press Save. It's going to prompt you to complete some information on the mod. This is what a user, if you want to make your mods public, this is what the user will see when they load it to the mod manager. You name it. I'm going to name it Aelianis Tutorial Monitor. You can put it in a description, for example, that it replaces the human female BB hair. Take into account that you cannot have more than one mode that replaces the same mesh. Yes? So sometimes it's a bit of a courtesy to let the user know that this hair will replace this particular hair, so that if they have another one that they want to use, they don't overlap and throw an error. Okay, so we are going to create. I'm going to make a new folder in this modding tutorial, because I will later be using that folder for the whole merging process, and it's going to be called mods. And this is where you put the name of the file. Like I said before, it was Aelianis tutorial ponytail. You can be more creative, this is just a generic thing. And you're going to get this confirmation, and it's going to tell you that the mod has been successfully saved. Okay, I'm going to cut this video here, and in the next one we're going to go to the merging process. Yes, it's a bit of a review, or like tutorial into how to install mods in general with the Dragon Age Inquisition mod manager, not with the not with the Frosty. Remember that we are using still these old tools, because these are the ones that work with the hair modding. And well, we will make a trial in the actual game. I will see if I can get some footage of that to add to the next video. Thank you very much for watching.